at Eco Feeding Ghana Limited, where the mentees will be taken through the processes of making feed for poultry. I'm so excited to know what goes on here. Do come with us, stay tuned and enjoy.
So when this program was launched initially, it was called the Poultry Mentorship Program. This year, it goes by the Poultry Youth Mentorship Program and Business Bootcamp. There are two introductions, the youth and business. Tell us the rationale. Yes, you mentioned that, you're trying to introduce the youth to the space, but then tell us what motivated you to focus on the youth. Even though it was youth, seeing the people or the participants is just not the youth. Just tell us about this initiative.
So yes, when we started this, we didn't know it would be so successful. Initially, we bring young people who have just left the tertiary institutions, and to be part of the program. We asked them to bring a proposal to be part of the program, and we, as part of the activities, we link them to farms for an internship program for about up to 6 months, where they learn the practical things on farm, and then periodically we bring them together and we train them on the theoretical aspect of the poultry business. So, but over the period, it's been so successful, and we have about 45 people, young people, who are beneficiaries of the project or the mentorship program, who have started their own poultry businesses. And originally, this project is funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and it started in 2015. Was supposed to have ended in the year 2020, a 5-year project. But somehow, we think, maybe based on some of the good things we did, the donor extended the project up to September this year. So we sat down and realized that we didn't have the time to bring them in, link them to farm for 6 months and go through all the processes and set up their businesses because of the period left for the execution of the project. So what we decided to do is to do this boot camp. So this is not only happening in Accra. We have it concurrently going on in Kumasi and Brahafo. So in all, we are training about 150 people. This time round, because of the success of the project and then because of the time factor that I mentioned. So the idea is now to bring this as many people as possible. If it worked well, why don't you expose a lot more people and see what you get out of it? So originally we were doing 15 people per region, and out of it, the first 3 will be given a starter pack to start their own poultry businesses. So this time what we decided to do, we bring 50 in. After this, they're supposed to bring their business plans. We evaluate the business plan. Then the first 10, you link them for a very short period, maybe 2 months, to the farms. Then we will screen again. And then the first 5, you give them starter pack to start their own poultry businesses. It's not only production, anything at all. That's why throughout the 3-day period, so they went to different places, just get ideas, and then some innovation, something to solve some of the problems in the poultry sector. One of the things that we pride ourselves in is we sort of promote innovation. We have young people now who are setting up projects to give us alternative protein sources for poultry, so that poultry farms don't rely on fish meal, because the fish stock in the seas are dwindling. Prices are going up. So we now have some young people who are experimenting with black soldier fly, the maggot of the black soldier fly. So we think we have some you heard them. You have people who are using e-commerce and other interventions to solve problems in the poultry sector. So we think that by exposing these people to the opportunity in the sector, they also come out with some very unique, innovative solutions to solve some of the problems that the sector is facing.
So you mentioned that this is going on in Kumasi, other parts of the country as well. Is it going on just about the same time, or after this, then you'll all move to Kumasi to do?
No, it's going on. No, we have offices in Kumasi already. This project, the Ghana Poultry Project, is being implemented in the 3 main poultry regions in Ghana. That's Greater Accra, Ashanti region, and the former Brown Ahafo region. Because these 3 regions accounts for a chunk of the poultry business in Ghana, maybe close to 70 to 80%. So we have offices with team in those offices. So the mentorship bootcamp is happening now. We are all running the same program, running the same curriculum, because we want to see uniformity and we want to give the people who are interested equal opportunity. So it's running the same time and using the same curriculum. So it's going on now at the same time.
So how did you get the mentees?
We advertised. We advertised in the dailies, and then some other social media platforms. And then they were supposed to give us a 500-page document as to their interest in the poultry sector. So they applied, we screened, and then we took out the top 50, because we could only have budgeted for 50 people because of budgetary constraints. So we brought the top 50 in each of the regions, and then those are the people we are working with.
Today is day 2 of the Youth Poultry Mentorship and Business Bootcamp. We are here at Eco Feed in Ghana Limited, where poultry feed is made. Growing up, my grandparents had poultry, but I never paid any interest in it. Today, I'm here to learn how poultry feed is made. What goes on here at Eco Feeding?
Eco Feeding Ghana Limited is a company which produces good quality poultry feed for all the stages of poultry. The chick stage, the grower stage, the layer, and also we produce the broiler feed also.
Okay, what is the success rate of sales here? Looking at your locations, it's in the industrial area. Does this affect your purchase?
With the success rate, I would say about 95 to 98%. We have customers all over the country who come to pick feed from us. Whatever we produce, at the end of the day, we don't keep a single bag here. Everything goes out. So I'll say our success rate is between 95 to 98%.
So what marketing skills do you involve in taking out this feed? Because recently recently there was shortage of maize in the country, but then how did you come up with different ways of solving this issue and still going ahead with production?
Okay, yes, it was true. There has been an increase in the high cost of poultry feed, and this is not from the feed companies. It has to do with the raw materials we are using. It started latter part of last year. Around June, the price of maize was around 65 to 70 Ghana cedis. But during the latter part, the last quarter of the year, it shot up to 100 Ghana cedis. And the soybean meal, the imported one from Argentina, which we were buying at around 140, went as high as 220 Ghana cedis per bag. So with these things, that caused the rise in the price of the feed. So you can see that all the raw materials we're using, the price went up, and automatically, in order to stay in production and to stay in business, we have no choice than to increase the cost of the feed.
Did the sudden increase affect your purchase?
Yes, the sudden increase affected our purchase. Because of that, it affected the farmers. And so, as a result, during the Christmas, most of the farmers had to dispose of their birds because they were not able to meet up with the production costs. So, in a way, it affected our sales. Our sales also came down because of this problem.
What goes on here at EcoFeed?
Okay, so we do poultry feed. We are into poultry production. We basically do feed for poultry. Okay, so in the production, they arrange according to the batches they want to do. The number of maize they will need for a particular batch, the soya beans, the medicine, the wheat bran, and then they arrange them according to the batches they want to do. So when they start batch 1, whatever they need to put in, they will put in, and everything mixes, and then it comes out as a prepared feed. Yeah.
What do you do as a production coach?
Okay, so basically, I'm in charge of the ordering of the raw materials, like supervise, coordinate for the raw materials to come, the documentation, FDA, everything regarding the production, how the materials have to get here is part of my.
There was a recent rise in prices of feed, which has caused an egg glut in Ghana right now. What is the cause of that?
Basically, it's the cost of the raw materials. The maize have gone up, soya bean is up, everything is up. And sometimes the scarcity of wheat bran, it can cause, when something is scarce, before you get it, it is up. So the price at which we are getting the raw materials is what is causing the feed price to go up. Hence, the egg too will go up.
So as a coordinator, what was your suggestion on the feed? Maybe getting different inputs to produce whatever the feed you have to produce or something. Was there an option in aside maize in producing feed?
No, we cannot do without maize.
Why not?
Because it's one of the major components in producing the feed. So we definitely need a maize to do.
We are currently at Amas Farms, our second stop, located in Oyarifa, where they process locally produced chicken. And then we've already gone through the various stages, the killing, the deplucking of the feathers, and then the dressing, which is done here. He took us through that. We are currently at the packaging stage. So we'll be speaking with James Nikwe, who was the winner for last year's bootcamp and was trained by Amas Farms. James, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us about your time stay at Amas Farms.
Okay, my time here was really great because the support system was there. Amas was really helpful. Anything I needed, he would help me. Sometimes when I'm at the site where I take care of the birds, I can call him around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. He will still come and look at the birds and tell me what he thinks is going on. Then if there's anything to be done, he would show me what to do. If it's medication, he will show me how to do it. So after the training, the support has still been there. So I've been trained and I'm still learning on the job, and he's been really great.
So help me understand. You have a degree in engineering, but then you didn't pursue that career. I'm sure a lot of Ghanaians or young people would kill to do engineering, and you left that to come and do poultry. Tell us why.
Oh, okay. Farming has been a passion for me, and being in the poultry value chain, I think is really great. So I decided to venture into that. So I just saw an opportunity and I took it, because if I'm going to be trained to do something I really like and enjoy doing, why not go for it?
How would you say it has been for you, the journey so far?
The journey was tough. It was hard. So I also did it hard, and I'm here now. So once you put in the hard work, you are going to make it.
We definitely can't talk about poultry farmers without seeing live birds. We are currently at Ron's Boat Farms, located in Nsawam. And here, he has about 70,000 live birds, about 10,000 for the day-old chicks and 60,000 for the layers. We are currently in the layers pen, where in each pen it contains about 2,000 birds. And then here, which equates to about 750,000 eggs a day, since each bird produces their own egg. In extreme cases, a bird can produce twice in a day, but in a normal case, a bird is supposed to produce one egg a day. Over here at Ron's Boat, they do not use the egg method, the egg picking method. They do hand picking. So every day or every time it is time to pick an egg, it is done manually, because there is a 2% rate of egg breaking all around the world. And to make profits for Mr. Boat, he decided that this farm should only hand pick the eggs. I'll be speaking to one of the mentees on what has been her experience so far. Yvonne, please tell us your experience so far, from yesterday till today.
It's been an eye-opening experience. I've really learned a lot from the marketing aspect, production aspect. I've really learned a lot from this program. I've also learned that entrepreneurship is hard. It's not impossible, but it's hard, and it needs you need dedication and passion. Your vision and your mission must be solid, it must be set, but because without those things you really cannot achieve much. But I've realized, I've learned that entrepreneurship is hard. You can do it, it's hard. It comes with its own challenges, but in the end it's worth it, because when you look around you see these birds and the way they are laying their eggs. It's really inspiring, and I hope to one day reach this threshold or even more.
So why poultry farming?
Well, if you look at the quantity of frozen poultry products being imported into the country, that's a lot of money that could have been used to support our local farming business or our local poultry businesses. I would, as a Ghanaian, want to contribute my quota to supporting local producers and supporting made in Ghana products.
An average feed mill must have some components like maize, soya, and sorghum. According to Ransbo's farm, he doesn't trust poultry feed makers on the market because their compositions are not accurate. Hence, he decided to produce his own feed on his farm. That is why he says his eggs are huge. And he says these eggs can last a whole month without going bad.
Guinea fowl meat is a delicacy in Ghana. Sadly for patrons, it is expensive and hard to come by. Unsuspecting clients are sometimes shortchanged at some popular sale joints and eateries. They are sold dressed chicken instead of guinea fowl meat. With his knowledge and his little experience on his father's vegetable farm, Joe abandoned the luxury life offered him in his plush family home in Accra and set out to make a living for himself up north. This was in 2008. 13 years down the line, I visited Joe on his farm.
It's been exciting over the years. It was a bad news from the beginning, but I thank God for adventurous nature of life. Because the very first bed we did in 2009, our largest production was 600 beds.
Okay.
We lost them all in 1 week.
Poultry farming is now an elementary task for Joe. The depth of knowledge he has is saving his colleague farmers a great deal in their poultry business. Another opportunity to make ends meet via consultancy services.
When your birds died and you accidentally caused death and you call it mortality, I wouldn't agree with you. Okay. When birds die out of a disease you are not aware of, or it came out of a transfer from another place, then we can be struggling with mortality. Okay. But if maybe you didn't give the nutritious food, you didn't control the microclimate for them, macro and micro for them, and then the birds are dying, you can't call that mortality. Many farmers say my birds have died. Then I tell them, you kill the birds. Then they say no. Then I start the question. By the time we get to halfway, they agree, yes, I killed them, but I didn't intentionally kill them.
While providing the consultancy, Joe identified yet another opportunity, a great need among his colleague farmers. Incubators for hatchery.
Yes, sir. It's level one of the nets.
With his engineering background, Joe personally manufactures incubators of various sizes to assist poultry farmers near and far to incubate their eggs to hatch. He currently operates one of the famous hatcheries in Tamale to support various farmers in the industry.
A machine like that is strictly for hatching. So the chicks that we are seeing down is because they are in small numbers. This one holds about 1,600. So this is quite a small number.
Oh, okay.
That's why we actually have it this way.
Okay. Having harnessed these opportunities in the poultry industry, could there be any threat to owning and maintaining a viable poultry farm in Dungu and its environs?
Poultry industry, more specifically guinea fowl, it's profitable. The only problem we have is we don't have control over the food stuff or the ingredients, mainly maize, soya, probably fish. And so at any given time, the price could swell, as we saw later part in November, December, where prices just went so high and has affected the poultry industry.
For now, the future looks bright for Joe and his Goli farmers up north who are into poultry business. Their major challenge, however, is the availability of land and capital to expand. MFI Tiamwa Eli for Joy News, Dungu.